What is up, everybody? This is Cam Jennings coming at you on behalf of EpicConversions.com. I want to welcome you to episode 4 of Index Card Insights. Listen, guys, this is episode 4, but I want you to know that we're counting down from 100. So really, that means, man, we're like 96 episodes into this thing. This is like episode 97. This is episode 90. Well, this is 97 episodes in, but we're episode 4 because we're counting down. Anyways, doesn't matter. What are we talking about today? Well, first of all, I know I just said we have a lot of episodes, right? We got 97 episodes now. So where can you find all those episodes? Well, the best thing to do is to go to EpicConversions.com, and you should find a link there to just click on the link for Index Card Insights or for the podcast, and it should take you to a place where you can go ahead and get access to all of the episodes of Index Card Insights. And if that fails you for some reason, you should be able to go over to YouTube and go to my YouTube channel, Zero Fats Returns. Type in Index Card Insights, and you'll find a playlist of all those episodes. So that's the best way to do it. So, anyways, what are we talking about today? So today I want to talk to you about grammar, punctuation, spelling as it relates to the written word, okay? And when I say the written word, I'm talking about email copy. I'm talking about special reports. I am talking about sales letters. I am talking about white papers. I'm talking about anything that you would use writing for to sell something on the internet. So today or yesterday, I think it was, I got an email from someone telling me that they love what I do. They were in the process of putting my emails into their autoresponder. So they bought a package of emails off of me, and they were in the process of putting them into their autoresponder. And they said as they were pasting my emails into their autoresponder, they were learning a lot from my writing. But also they said they have a master's in business administration, and they feel like what would make my emails even better is if I had a proofreader read over them and like edit them for punctuation and stuff, right? Which I understand why someone who went to college might feel that way. I went to college too, and I understand why someone who went to college might feel that way. You know, you write a lot of papers in college, MLA standards, font size 12, Times Roman numeral. Like, there's a special way they want you to write in college. What I would say to this person and what I would say to all you guys is that, you know, how do I want to put this? Okay, so have you ever hear of like a writer, E. E. Cummings? You ever hear of Virginia Woolf? You ever hear of Bob Dylan? People like that. And I could go on, tons of people. But all these writers, they have like revoked, they have pushed off standards in writing. They have kind of like just like went against the grain when it comes to punctuation, and they've done it on purpose to invoke attention. Okay, they've done it to grab attention, right? And they've done it over and over again to grab attention. I could name tons and tons of names for authors and writers who have done this. The fact of the matter is you have to understand that in 2023, it's very, very easy to take everything you've written and put it through like a chat GPT and have it check for grammar, put it through a Grammarly, have it check for punctuation. You can do any of that stuff so easy, and it's completely free. And it's just very, very easy to like kind of like grammar wash all your writing in 2023. Now me, I don't do that. I don't do it. I keep my I keep my Grammarly in check. Put it this way. I got Grammarly riding in the back seat. All right. I never let Grammarly take the wheel. All right. How can I put this? I'm a chauvinist pig when it comes to dealing with Grammarly. I don't let ChatGPT write any of my emails, and I don't let Grammarly in the driver's seat when it comes to punctuation. And why? Why do I write my emails that way? First of all, you got to understand something. I've had people on my list since I was publishing stuff for Adventures on the River, which is a business I was running back in 2012, 2013, right? So that means I've had people on my email list for over a decade, okay? So first of all, anyone who's talking to me, if you haven't had people on your email list for over a decade, I'm not sure you're qualified to tell me how to write email copy. Second of all, I've made a lot of money, over hundreds of thousands of dollars writing emails. So if you haven't made that much money writing emails, I don't know if you're qualified to tell me how to do it. And I'm not saying anything like that to brag. I'm not like I'm not like a bragger, so to speak. I mean, look, in internet marketing and in the online space, if you're trying to sell things online, you have to brag a little bit. But I'm not typically much of a, bragger. But the fact is, there's a lot of things in this world that I don't know what I'm doing at. You know what I mean? Plenty of stuff that I don't know what I'm talking about with. And I'm the kind of person, which is kind of a unicorn for today, but I'm the kind of person that I'm okay admitting when I don't know about something. Like if I don't know, I don't know. You know, I'm just not sure about that. I'm not an expert, you know. I had a guy come look at our plumbing, last year, and I said, yeah, I had to call you, man, because I'm not a plumbing expert. I don't know anything about it, really. I tried to fix it myself, and I made it worse, so I had to call a plumber. So it happens sometimes. I might be like I might have the world title for the world's worst carpenter. You know what I mean? I keep on trying, but I've messed up plenty. If I could tell you how many doors I've messed up trying to buy doors and hang doors in my house, like you'd be laughing at me, seriously. I keep on trying, but I'm not the best, carpenter. But anyways, the point is, there's a few things I am good at. One thing I'm really good at is email copy. Probably because I've been doing it for a really long time. I've been doing it since, for a long time. I've been doing it since before there was an Epic Conversions, and I started that company in 2016. So I've been doing it for a really, really long time. All right. So you do anything for a really long time, and you start getting really good at it. So what I can tell you about email copy, and I've been reading, I've actually been reading a book by Dan Kennedy. You probably heard of it. It's called The Ultimate Sales Letter. But he kind of like reaffirms my beliefs in this book. I don't have the exact quote, but he's basically saying similar things for sales copy, is how I treat emails. But essentially the way I treat email is impact is what matters. I don't care like which ways I break sentences. I'll break them in whatever way feels right. I'll put ellipses in the front. I'll put ellipses in the back. I will misspell words sometimes. I will use slang. I will do all kinds of stuff that I have to do to grab people's attention. I'll weave in and out of descriptive writing. Sometimes I'll write short, snappy, right to the point. And then I'll weave into descriptive writing. Sometimes I will write 1,000-word email that goes on and on and on, and I won't even talk about the product until the very last sentence. I just do so many different things when it comes to email copy. Like I just dropped an email newsletter in my ECIC Discounts Club. And if you don't know anything about ECIC Discounts, that's my newsletter club. You can find that over epicconversions.com. You'll find a link to it. But I just dropped a newsletter in there for those guys. It's a little bonus email series. It's an 8-email series, and it's called The Quitter. And it uses satire, right? And you might say, satire? What's that got to do with what email, what's that got to do with selling things on the internet? How are you using satire? Great question. You're going to have to check out the series to find out. But the point is, I use satire in that email series. Now, look, it's not all literary and fancy. This is like, layman's terms, down to earth. Anyone can understand what I'm writing. Now, you might say, well, why is that? Well, why is that? The reason why is because you don't make a lot of money talking down to your audience. So if I'm writing an email package that I'm going to give to you to put in your autoresponder sequence, that email package is not going to be talking down to your audience. You understand what I'm saying? So when someone emails me and says, hey, one thing I don't like about your stuff, and I love everything about it, I'm actually learning while I'm reading it, while I'm putting it in my autoresponder series. Like if someone actually says that to me, Like, I think they're missing the point. And if they're adjusting it because they're trying to fix the punctuation and they're trying to grammar wash it or whatever, I think that what you have to understand is, email copy is not like a college essay, right? Email copy is different than that. Email copy is like real world reading. When you think about like the standards that exist in college to write an essay, MLA, standard, 12-point font, Times Roman numeral, whatever, like cite all your work, stuff like that. Like, this is like an artificial environment in college that like it doesn't translate to the real world. So when you write email copy, you have to understand people's inboxes are slam packed full of emails. People competing for that person's attention, right? So like, what do you have to say to get their attention? It's like, why should they take any time to even open your email, right? Some of it is what you have to say. Some of it is how you say it, right? Sometimes, so it's like, how comedians, they tell jokes, but it's not just the joke, it's the delivery. You see what I'm saying? It's not just the joke, it's the delivery. It's the whole thing together, right? So like, I would just say to people buying my emails, I would be careful how you adapt it. I would adapt it to your style, but be careful how you're adjusting like the breaks and the emails and like how I'm doing things. You might just look at it like, oh, this is just someone who's uneducated and they don't know how to write. Well, you'd be wrong, right? You'd just be wrong. You'd be assuming something that's not true. And also, there's a reason why you were referred to buy my email copy, because it works, right? But it's not going to work when you start fooling with it and messing around with it. So that's what I'd say. I mean, you can adapt it and adjust it however you want to, but I'm just telling you, there's a method to the madness is what I'm saying. Email copy is not like a college essay. Email copy is its own thing. Now, I think that translates to sales pages as well, to be honest. This is my opinion. It translates to sales letters. It doesn't matter about like the grammar and the punctuation. What does matter is the impact that you're making. So any kind of like grammatical errors that you can make to increase attention is good. Like, now look, if you're making a bunch of grammatical errors and a bunch of punctuation mistakes that's not adding to the copy, that's like turning people off, okay, that's one thing. But if you're doing these things in a way that's making you appear more like a normal person, that's making you appear more relatable, that's making you appear funny, that's making you appear down to earth. If you're doing these things in a way that makes you appear more like an everyman, now you're doing things to your advantage now. Now you're building trust with people that wouldn't otherwise be there, right? So there's a lot to it, but what I will tell you is it's been proven time and time again that it is the thing, not the rule, that matters when it comes to writing. What do I mean by that? Well, the thing is the points you're trying to convey in the written word. The points that you're trying to convey in the written word. What is it you're trying to tell me, right? It's the thing that matters, not the rule. And what do I mean by the rule? What I mean by the rule is the basically standard, the benchmarks, the go-bys, the best practices, if you will. People love to put best practices on things, okay? That's the thing about like art, man. And look, writing is an art form. That's the thing about art forms, man. Everybody loves to put rules on stuff. They do, man. People do. You know why? Because anybody can put a set of rules on something. Anybody can do it, man. Anybody can look at it. You try it sometime. Look at anything and put a set of rules on it. Anybody can do it, man. Any talentless jackass can put a set of rules on something, right? Anybody can say, oh, we're going to do writing now? Let me come up with a set of rules for it. Oh, we're going to play cornhole now? Oh, let me put a set of rules on it. Oh, what are we going to do? We're going to watch TV now? Let me put a set of rules on how we're going to watch TV. Anybody can put a set of rules on anything, all right? Rules are just like rules. But the thing is, not anybody can write great, right? Not just anybody can play NFL football. Not just anybody can play NBA basketball. Not just anybody can paint an amazing picture, right? So like what I would tell people about like who get really hung up on best practices is that like people who want to differentiate, they don't always follow best practices. In fact, I think people who differentiate, who are good at differentiation, they kind of adopt this mindset that those rules don't apply to me. You know, those rules don't apply to me. You know, they're going to do it their own way. Right. And that might annoy a lot of people. But you know what? Those are the people who really, really figure it out and thrive because the rules don't apply to them in their own mind. And, you know, I think that when you're dealing with the written word, it's important to not forget it is an art form at the end of the day. And there are no real true rules. There are only, you know, best practices. And what are best practices? Just a bunch of like go by rules that someone made up that worked for them. Doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Doesn't mean it's going to work for the next guy. Hell, it doesn't even mean it really worked for them. Could have just been someone who created a bunch of best practices for something they've never even done. So, you know, you got to take it with a grain of salt. As far as I'm concerned, there's only one rule when it comes to email copy, and that is create impact, right? You never made any money boring people to death. That's the bottom line. You know, with my emails, man, you know, I take chances. I like to educate a little bit. I like to sell. I like to do some descriptive writing. I do a lot in there, man. I got my own style, and it doesn't really adhere to grammar standards. It doesn't really adhere to spelling standards or punctuation standards. I mean, it's a roller coaster ride, you know? And like when people subscribe to my list, I want them to feel like they don't know what the hell is going to come next. That's what I want, right? I want them to keep on reading because they don't know what the hell I'm going to say next, right? And you only get that if you can throw best practices out the window. That's how I feel about grammar and punctuation and, you know, spelling when it comes to the written word and it comes to like selling things on the internet. So anyways, I don't know. I hope this has been helpful to you in some way, shape, or form. That's all I got to say about it. Not everyone's going to agree with me, of course. Some people adhere to their own like kind of standard or whatever, but I can only speak as to what works for me and what I've been doing, like I said, for over a decade now. And it must be working pretty good because I've had people on my list that entire time who are still on my list. So that's all I got. Thanks so much for hanging out. I'll see you guys in the emails. I'm at epicconversions.com. All you got to do to get on my list is pick up one of my free offers. That's all you got to do. So I got a couple free offers over there at epicconversions.com. Peace now.